Have you been to college before? Well, make sure you know what you're doing before you get into it. All right. We got Surviving College When You're Lazy by Surburbanwill. This guy makes some pretty good videos about like the current generation and all that, mainly about Gen Z and millennials, but mostly Gen Z, like part of my generation. All right. So let's get into it. As someone who's genuinely thinking about going back to college to get a more profitable degree, I'll probably have to learn this then. But I've been to college before and got my degree, though it was in general studies. So, all right, let's get into it.
My parents always told me that when I turned 18, I had two options, college or the military. And I'm sensitive and don't like getting yelled at, so college is where I ended up. I was really excited.
My parents mainly, they never told me to go to the military or anything like that. They're like, you don't need to go there to be successful, which that is true. That is true. But college, I mean, for some degrees, yes, but not every single degree they offer there. I think that's the big misconception with college.
When I went to college, though. I was living with one of my best friends, I had a major picked out, and I was finally able to be on my own and make my own decisions. But when it was finally time to decide what I wanted to do, the only answer I had was nothing. I see a lot of people on social media.
Dude, same. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was going into college. I I remember my mom taking me to my high school was having this like college fair and we went there. We went to all the colleges that were already there scouting out students and only one had something I was kind of interested in, which was digital media web design. Like I didn't care what it was. I'm like, just as long as it has digital media aspects within it, I'm interested in it. And they're like, oh, we have web design. And I'm like, and my young self was like, yeah, let me get into it. I'll do it. I'll love it. And then I actually took the web design classes. I'm like, this is kind of shit, honestly. Like, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me.
Talking about gifted kid burnout, but if I'm being completely honest, I think a lot of us are just lazy or need to get tested for ADHD. I never really had to try too hard to do well in school, and if I ever did struggle, the belt was always there to straighten me out. So when I got to
Oh,
college, I didn't really care about school anymore. I had a scholarship, so I kept my grades up, but in those 4 years, I learned that the biggest lessons are the ones taught outside the classroom. Yo, bro, can I see your notes from earlier? I got here late today. Not gonna lie, bro, I haven't been paying attention at all. Bro, we got a quiz on Friday. What are you doing? Yeah, I've been hooked on this game. It's called Raid Shadow Legends, and they're the
oh no, an ad.
sponsor
Is
of
it an
today's
ad?
video. Wait, video? Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play turn-based mobile RPG. They've got over 80 million players worldwide, and they're constantly updating it with new content. Wait, 80 million players? That many people play this game? Yeah, bro, and it's mad chill. So many multiplayer games are full of sweats that ruin all the fun. But with Raid, you just jump in, select your heroes, and build teams based on their unique abilities and interactions. Okay, but I've been seeing this game for years, bro. Even if you say it's casual, I'm definitely gonna be way behind all the other players just like every other MMO. Excuse me, gentlemen, but is there something you two would like to share with the class? Actually, yeah, there is. Right now, there's no better time for new players to try Raid Shadow Legends. All you gotta do is download using the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen, and you get Tagore, an epic support champion, 300,000 silver, 1 energy
What?
refill, 10
No
magic brews, and a
way.
1-day XP boost. That's $60
Oh
worth of
my
in-game
god.
content for free. And once you hit level 15, you get an additional epic champion Tayrell and even more.
Has anyone actually given Raid a chance when seeing these ads? Like, there's gotta be some people who given Raid the chance. Like, it's been promoted like to hell, but still, like, who has given Raid Shadow Legends the chance after seeing one of these ads? And is it actually good?
Silver, energy, and XP. And on top of that, they're throwing in one legendary champion for free if you use any one of these codes. Personally, I've been using Loki and going absolutely crazy with them. If you've ever wanted to try Raid and see what all the hype is about, now is the best time. It's available for download on mobile, PC, and Mac. And don't forget to use one of these promo codes to get your legendary champion. Once you're in, come join my clan and we can play together. Thanks to Raid for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to download using this QR code or the link in the description. I think the most exciting thing about college is finally having the freedom to do whatever you want. However, this freedom comes with a lot of
I remember the first time like I was actually aware of what college was during the extremely goofy movie where they shut off the dorms, the cafeteria, the classes, and stuff like that. Well, the classes didn't really interest me that much, but like having that cool college life when you go to dorms, do all that stuff. But when in real life, those dorms are probably expensive as hell unless you got like a grant or a scholarship or you're in one of the sports teams. Wait, all right, so college sports teams, do you actually get the dorm for free as long as you keep your grades up and pass your classes? I know I heard that they don't get paid uh during the games, but I don't know.
responsibility. So you have to keep yourself in check. Because
Textbooks are expensive though. You might as well just go on to Amazon and find a cheap version of it.
if you're me, a 9 a.m. class with no attendance requirement means that it might as well be optional. I skipped class so much that when I walked in for an exam one day, my professor looked at me and said, "Haven't seen you in a while." Like, whoa. I was told that in college, you're just a number and your professors won't remember you. But I guess you stand out a lot more when you're one of the only black people in the room. Speaking of professors, having a good relationship with one is really important. That's why on the first day of class, there's always a line of students trying to introduce themselves to someone who already forgot their name before they even told them. I think the best way is to just do it organically. Find professors who match your energy. They're not all bookworms who only care about academics. I remember when I was really struggling with my mental health, I completely forgot to submit an oral presentation that was worth 30% of my grade. And my professor was cool enough to give me an extension just because he could see I was kind of going through it. But also, if you're like me, you may also have a huge issue with procrastination. And growing up, you probably had teachers telling you,
Dude, same. And it's funny because I never had this issue in high school. Like when it came to college, it just started becoming a bad habit. But during high school, like I got everything done on time. I got things done early. Like there were like projects that I got that were I was on task. I was getting them done. I was getting them even like there was even one time where we had this like big essay, like a 5-page essay on like a book we had to read. Like it was any book, and I got done I think like 2 or 3 days before it was actually due, and I put my heart and soul into it. So I think I got a good grade on it. It's been years, so 2026 is gonna be 10 years since I graduated high school, but dang.
you know, this won't work when you get to college. But that's the problem. It does work. Really well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get to college, you're like an expert at procrastinating. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but that's just because it wasn't due by 11:59. In fact, it's gotten to the point where I genuinely believe that I do some of my best work at the last minute. Yo, don't forget our reports are due at 11:59 tonight. You almost done? Oh, yeah, totally. You haven't even started, have you? You always wait till the last minute. It'll be fine, bro. Don't you know that diamonds are made under pressure? Yeah, and so is coal. Yo, bro, I'm going to hoop. Wanna come? Bro, our reports are due in 3 hours. You should really get started. It's just a quick sesh. I'll be back in a bit and then I'll get started. Oh, I gotta go. Man, you should have seen me out there. I hit the game winner and all the ladies were like, "Oh my God." Whatever, bro. Are you gonna get started now? Well, I got a shower. I don't wanna be in here all stinky. All right, bro, whatever. Just make it a
I
quick.
gotta say, Surburbanwill has like some pretty good humor. If you haven't watched some of his videos, like for the past few months, I've been watching like a few of his videos every now and then when I'm on car drives. But he has a really good sense of humor.
One. Don't be in there pretending you're in a music video again. Whatever. I will give you the world, baby girl. You ain't gotta be perfect. Yo, you wanna go get something to eat? Dude, our reports are due in 2 hours. So you're not hungry? No. Dude, what are you doing? Yeah, I probably should have dropped salty. There's like no loot here. We're gonna fail. All right, time to get started. Time for a break.
It's like SpongeBob. Duh. Break time. Pacing always helps anything.
Well, I don't know how you did it, but somehow we got an A. Look, the professor left feedback. Solid report. Some areas could have had more detail. Oh, come on. What did he say about my part? Great analysis. This must have taken weeks of careful research and crafting. Bravo. Trying to
And it always happens. It always happens.
run duos? Another thing about college is that in your first couple of years, you'll probably live in a dorm. And I'd say being in a dorm is less
I wish I did, but they're so expensive.
about living and more about survival. It also sucks.
To be honest, like when I was young, I was watching all these college dorm videos, stuff like that. Like when I was like in junior and senior year of high school, and even like during community college, because I went to community college first instead of uni. But yeah,
When you and your roommate are on the same schedule, so you never get a moment to just be alone. But learning how to coexist with a bunch of other dudes made me appreciate having my own space a bit more. Like there was this one time someone caused the fire alarm to go off because they tried to heat up a granola bar and ended up starting a small fire in the microwave, which made the entire building evacuate and had 1,000 people standing outside in the rain at 10 p.m.
in the
But I'm sure they
rain.
probably
Jesus Christ.
didn't mean to. You know, whoever it was. But living in a
Wait, was it him? Oh no.
community does make the transition of being on your own a lot easier. So I would say if you have the opportunity to try out dorm life, be sure to embrace it. A big part of college are parties and going out at night. And while I didn't really enjoy partying that much, I still tagged along with my friends whenever they went out sometimes. Being the sober friend at the bar is not a fun experience, and it almost seemed like the world was upside down at night. Even the cops seemed more interested in cracking down on jaywalking than the countless obviously underage drinkers. Hey! Do you want to go to jail tonight? Whoa, officer, what
Oh,
did
it's
I do?
Tsukachi.
Don't you know that jaywalking is a serious offense? Dude, I'm 2 inches away from the crosswalk. Hey, 2 inches is a lot. Some might even say it's kind of big, actually. Okay, but what about all the people out here underage drinking tonight? Like, look at that guy. There's no way he's 21. Hey, you, come here. Is there a problem, officer? Are you old enough to
Oh
be
yeah,
drinking
kill
that?
it. Well.
Maybe. What's this guy here for? I was a couple of inches away from the crosswalk. Hey man, you know, a couple of inches is a lot. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that the width is what's really important anyway. Right? My wife said the same thing, you know. You know, if we really get into it, it's not about the size at all, but really more so getting the job done. Like, you know, it's all relative. I completely agree. Who is even I will say that my
It's about how you use him, man.
my favorite part of college was the community. College is a great place for making friends and even dating since everyone's around the same age. Even just being in the same place enough times a week can be the start of a new friendship. But just because things are a bit easier, it doesn't mean that they don't still come with challenges. Even as a pretty outgoing person, it's still really awkward when you and a bunch of strangers get assigned a group project. So, you play any video games? Nah. Okay, type. You, catch the game last night? I'm not really into sports. Right.
I remember one of my classes in like uh community college, like I know it was a digital media class, but I'm not sure if it was for InDesign or actually it might have been InDesign. Huh. Well, I I had this one of the guys next to me, like I was looking up something Nintendo related like before class, and he's like, "Did you watch the Smash Direct?" And this was back in like 2018. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm interested in this," and we were talking, and that was the only time we've ever talked. It's just kind of funny.
You got Instagram?
But like when I remember during the group projects was when I would talk to people like the most, because and it's not because I'm antisocial. It's just that everyone's just minding their own business. That's basically it. Like there were very few extroverted people in the classes.
I'll follow you. Social media isn't really your thing. Right, of course. I know it can be challenging sometimes. I remember feeling really lonely my first couple of months on campus because I wasn't really into partying, but it seemed like that was the only way people were meeting each other. But once I started pursuing more of my personal interests, I started making a lot more friends. And while I was able to eventually find my community, I know it's not that easy for everyone. One day, an administrator reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to show a student around. And on this tour, the student told me that he had been feeling really disconnected and was having a hard time meeting people and making friends. And it's hard trying to help. People want to make their own friends, not just become a fifth wheel to you and yours. So I started thinking about what I could do. Meanwhile, my friends were busy forming a plan to turn our friend group into something bigger. However, trying to get a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds with no money to be on the same page about anything is almost impossible. But what we did manage to do was take all of our consoles out of our dorms, rent out a room on campus, and host an open game night. We had food,
Oh,
drinks,
nice.
and anyone was welcome to come. And I took the opportunity to invite the guy who said he had been struggling. And he didn't instantly make lifelong friends, but it was really cool to see him finally feeling like he was able to connect with other students. In college, I was an orientation leader. You know those people who were up at 6 a.m. screaming in your face when you were a freshman? Yeah, that was me. And one thing I learned
I've never seen those. I never even heard of those. Hmm. Maybe it's a big thing in universities.
is that remembering someone's name and face goes a long way at making them feel like they belong somewhere. And that can be the push someone needs to get out there and start making the most out of their college experience. But also, college may be your first time in a multicultural environment, which can be both a good and bad thing depending on how you approach it. I went to college at a school that is 70% white, and this led to a lot of unique experiences due to having a fairly diverse friend group. And since black people only made up about 6% of the student body, seeing another black person was always special. Yeah, so I had to tell her to put her socks back on because I am not that freaky. But yo, what's up, my boy? Oh, what's good, bro? Hey, it's good to see you. How you living? You know me, bro, just chilling. It's good with you. Tight. I'm cooling. Just trying to stay out the way. On God. You clean though. Hey, you see it? All right, I'm holla at you though. You be easy. For sure, bro. Same to you. Oh, you know that guy? Never seen that dude a day in my life. Stepping into a more diverse environment can be a bit stressful, especially when you're unsure how your culture will interact with others. One thing that used to happen often was I would call an Uber, and no matter what music was playing in the car before, the moment I got in it, the driver would switch to playing rap music. And I never knew whether to feel grateful or offended, because I do prefer to listen to rap, but he doesn't know that, so sometimes I ask him to change it back just to throw him off. And while being in a diverse environment helps broaden your perspective, you have to be mindful of what you're getting yourself into sometimes. Boy, you so fat you got tired riding the elevator. You so fat you look like you sweat butter. Hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're just roasting each other. Nothing serious. Oh, can I join? I
Oh
love
no.
roasting people. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Oh, come on. I have 2 brothers and I roast them all the time. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. All right then. You look like... He said my breath smells like crocodile sweat. How does he even know what that smells like? Being in a multicultural environment was one of the main reasons I went to the school I chose. And I've learned that diversity for the sake of numbers doesn't really do anything if the students aren't willing to engage with each other. I'm not gonna sit here and act like you won't face different forms of prejudice when you go to college. I've had my own experiences sitting in diversity offices because someone called me the N-word. Again, it's hard being
Damn.
reminded of these things. It's hard when you're already
I
struggling.
never really seen that issue. Like, mainly in high school, but middle school, I didn't really see it. Like, in elementary, it was mainly whites and Hispanics. And, all right, this is off tangent, but I didn't know that black people were separated from Hispanics for until like middle school. I should have figured out the pieces together because I had a black teacher as my fifth grade teacher, and there were like 2 black students in my grade. But I didn't really figure it out until like middle school because I went to a middle school like basically in the ghetto, I kind of want to say, and that that middle school had mainly black students. Like I'd argue maybe less than like maybe let's say 40% was like black, like 20-30% was like white, and then the rest was just everything else. But yeah, I soon figure out what black people are truly are. That sounds a weird way of saying it, but it's true, and they were the ratchety type of black people. Not trying to be offensive or anything, but still.
To find community and other people make you feel unwelcome. It feels unfair when things like this can cause you to feel deeply hurt. But if you react emotionally to it, people hold that against you. When people have preconceived notions about you just because of the way you talk or act or even look, and they judge you before they even get the chance to know you. But in my experience, where there's discrimination, there's also support. And you don't have to face these things alone. One of the biggest things I learned in college is that sometimes life is just about sharing experiences with each other, learning from the lives others have lived. I remember my freshman year, a friend of mine suggested that a few of us head over to the LGBT Resource Center to attend a class on ways we can better support LGBT students on campus. And I won't lie, as one of the only straight guys in the room, I felt really out of place. But I came to realize that you
Hmm.
don't need to be a part of a community to learn about their experiences. I'm not trying to sound preachy or make myself look like a good person. I'm just saying that the best part of college is the community. And if you make an effort to get out there and talk to people who are different from you, things will be a lot better. But it has to be genuine. It's not about politics or agendas, it's about learning. You don't come into college knowing everything. I didn't even know what tampons were for until I got to college. But if you keep an open mind, maybe you'll know a bit more than you.
Honestly, I think kind of same. Like I didn't really understood. I just thought they were just women stuff. Like I didn't know what they actually were until way later in life.
Used to. If you really want to make the most of your college experience, you should try your best to get involved as much as you can. When I was an orientation leader, I had a student named
I didn't do that. I just I was part of the going straight home club. So after classes, I beeline it to the car and just go home.
Jake. And on this day, he was the only guy in my group. He was a little quiet and awkward, and I could tell he was struggling to fit in with the group of sorority girls I had. He was sitting by himself, and when I talked to him, I learned that he was a really big Nintendo fan. And I reassured him that while
Hey,
the girls in our group today weren't really his vibe, there's plenty of people at our school who will be. During the school year, I worked in the student center, and one day I walked into the game room and saw Jake sitting alone playing the Switch. A few minutes passed, and a group of guys asked if they can play Smash with him. And after a few awkward moments of breaking the ice, I saw Jake start to come out of his shell. The same niche references and jokes he tried making during orientation were actually landing with these guys. And they stayed there all night gaming together and forging a new friendship. Even though I
oh,
didn't
that's
care much
awesome.
for partying and going to class, moments like these are what matters. College is about finding your people and finding yourself. And it was really cool to see it happening right in front of me. Until I had to kick them out because we were closed and I wanted to go home. Thanks for watching the
Oh,
video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. Peace.
all right, that was a good video. Check out Surburbanwill since he makes some pretty good videos. Let's see. Let's find some comments. Let's find some comments. Let me find some good comments. This one. This one's kind of the same as me. I've been at community college for almost 3 years. Completely different experience. Everyone rather goes to home work right after class. You never hang out on campus due to the half-hour drive. Try to make friends. Everyone seemed to have their friend groups from high school or were too busy working. The only conversations I really had with people were about how much engineering sucks, but we keep grinding for these classes. This is kind of the same since I started in community college and didn't go to university. And it's funny because when I went to university, most of my classes were online. Like the university was like a 2 hour drive, and I only went for very few classes. It was mainly like two or three at most. Since everything else was online, there was really no reason to go over there. But yeah, everyone after class, everyone is beelining outside to their cars. I can relate to this one. I wish I made better memories in college. Every day was just the same thing. I didn't have many friends. I didn't talk to anyone. I barely existed, and I missed out on my own graduation. But at the same time, I was always too afraid to make that first move because of what high school and middle school put me through. There's nobody to blame but me, and that's not a mistake worth seeing repeated in others. I kind of had this, but like with the middle school and high school, kind of opposite since I made some pretty cool friends during middle school and high school. I think the difference is that compared to university, like in middle school and high school, you are forced to stay for like 8 hours straight. In like college, you're just there for your classes. Like if you have one or two classes a day, you're there for them, and you could leave whenever you want to. But yeah. But anyway, that's surviving in college. Uh, I probably will take this advice if I do go back to college. I am generally, well, I'm 28, so most of my classes will probably be online, but still, yeah. All right, that's gonna be it.